So I've been seeing a lot of videos on my YouTube timeline about the Knight's real identity. And I've seen a lot of candidates for the Knight's real identity, ranging from like real people like Genghis Khan, LeBron James, Karl Marx, and then some fictional characters like Sayori and Rey. But I know who the Knight actually is upon really thinking about it and watching some of these videos. And who the Knight really is Slave Knight Gale from Dark Souls 3. Now, why Gale and not any of the other characters or people? Well, here's the thing. All the characters and people, they die. LeBron James, he's still alive, but he's a human, and he's gonna retire soon, and his time will come. Sad to think about, but it is true. And now Slave Knight Gale, he's a slave knight, which in the lore of Dark Souls 3 means that they're essentially cannon fodder, just sent out to battlefields to fight, die, just come back from death and just keep fighting. And Slave Knight Gale, well, it's in the name, he is one of those. And where else do we see this coming back from death? The Knight. Whenever he dies in the game, the mask breaks, comes back to where you last saved the game. You have to kill the Shade to get all of your money back. But this here is where we see the similarities start. These two characters, they cannot die. Now, another thing is that early on in Hollow Knight, in the first area of the game, the Knight can read messages that were meant for higher beings. Now, an analog for the higher beings in Dark Souls would be the people that carried one of the primordial souls that were born from the first flame. And basically, these people that have these souls, they're like crazy strong. They can create essentially entire aspects of existence itself, like chaos, or the Age of Fire, or Abyss. I'll come back to Abyss later. One thing to know about Slave Knight Gale is by the end of the Ring City DLC, he has the Dark Soul within him, which is one of those primordial souls. Now, Slave Knight Gale also has other similarities to Hollow Knight. Well, for one, they're both knights, so case closed already. And as for it, like attacks, like they both have their sword attacks, their ranged attacks, their AoEs. They both have like dark damage. Or, you know, it's not the same thing, but like essentially, right? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Now, as for the jumping part, you know, the Knight can jump pretty high. Now, what about Slave Knight Gale? Yeah, he could do tricks on it. And something important about the Knight and Slave Knight Gale is that they're both containing something for a better world. Now, the Knight, at the end of certain endings of Hollow Knight, carries the entire infection within him, so it's not spread around Hollow Nest. And for Slave Knight Gale, he carries the Dark Soul because he's been looking for the Dark Soul so that his niece could make a painting with it and essentially create a better world for the people in Ariandel. So, we look at the facts, the narrative, the name, and the looks. Like, it's case closed. Slave Knight Gale.